Hey, Mike, help that. Hey, here's 10 grand to say, we don't want to do it.
Gate would stop. I mean, something like, to me, something that opens like that, it wouldn't matter, it's not gonna. Because the speed might be a little bit, but it's more visible than a plastic chain.
But that's not saying that road.
Yeah, for 10 grand, we want something that's gonna do this without a chain.
I don't know, that's,
One guy in the bucket.
Honestly.
yeah.
Northeast of Wisconsin.
Something that was close.
They said when they came through, they
They're
had
not
to
gonna
get
change.
white oak came, and people guessed it and said,
Giant
"Hey,
magnet.
look, the outside
They'd have to be
wall."
hooked together and
And
then
then they came
there's
through.
a change
and I
that we
think
could
they
link
dropped
everything.
the line across those boxes and stretched it.
Or do they-
Oh.
Or they made it where they do this and then they stop and they can't go that way.
Gotta get tangled up in the internet finding
Yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
back in there, turned around and hooked that thing. And he unhooked the trailer. And it was like spun.
That's where they're
going around.
Well,
With that strap.
This guy's did it and broke the internet line and the steel cable.
Yeah.
We think it's.
just wrap up the way around it.
Yeah.
And it broke one of them.
Well, I mean, it broke the line, and then we think it jacked it off. We don't even.
Okay.
It's just.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business, approval minutes of the last meeting. Any additions or corrections? I'll second the motion. Motion been made and second to approve the minutes as presented of the last meeting. Those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Motion passes. Publication of claims, I'll make a motion to pay the claims as presented.
Second.
Motion been made and second to pay claims. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Motion passes. Department reports, anything not already on the agenda?
We have went and got coal patch, and we're patching as many holes as we can. We ended up, we used to get it at Carversville at that place. We used to get it at Reef Riley or Milestone in Lafayette. They weren't doing it. We had to go clear to the southeast side of Indianapolis to get it. But, I mean, it was easy to get to and easy to get out, so it wasn't terrible. We got 4.5 tons and we've used probably 1.5 tons, maybe 2 so far. So we've knocked out a bunch of them so far.
Right, now I noticed that, yeah.
And if you guys probably noticed, we did have a power outage because a tractor or whatever hit the internet line and messed it up. But when it hit it, it flipped the internet line up and around all of our power lines and the ground, so it shorted everything out. Broke a cross arm, broke a cutout, blew all 3 fuses. So that end of town didn't have any power the other night for about 3.5 hours, about 3.5 hours. And we just, Dwayne and I talked about it. We seen what was up there. We ended up calling Carversville, and they were down here, and they were down here very quick. And for what we sat there and we got the parts ready. When they got here, the young man went up, lineman, and he flew through that way faster than either of us would have ever been able to do it. I mean, he was doing things up there I never saw. Dwayne, he witnessed it more than I did. But that young man was very quick. When he got there and got everything untangled and then started working on stuff, he was really good. So, we talked to them about, would it be an option? And they said they were still talking about it, and so.
They had their board meeting yesterday,
Yeah.
so he's gonna try to get us, something with the billing, basically. He said it wasn't really a contract, it was just so you guys knew what they
An
were gonna
idea
be
of
charging,
what-
type thing, kind of what I told you the other day.
Yeah.
And he said that they would have us that tomorrow, so.
Nice.
But we just mentioned to him and they have a ground person and a lineman come down. And we just mentioned, hey, just right off hand, your guys' opinion, you work there every day. What would it be to schedule 10, 15 poles here and there and this and that during the year? And he acted like it, oh God, we'd love to have extra work to do. So, that's just the way they were talking. But I'll wait till we get their notice or their quote or whatever. So
With no contract.
with no contract, as of, I mean, I can't speak for them, but as of right now, that's what they're saying.
Nice.
Good.
Justin passed his sewer exam.
Good deal.
Yay, Donnie's one day closer to retirement.
We want that kid.
I think that's probably about it, unless anybody has anything else. Or it's reports.
All right. Nothing else from the town guys, huh?
Mhm.
Legal's not present, law enforcement's not present, engineer's not present. Public concerns.
Have you guys heard anything from State Highway Department on when they're gonna work on the
Last
culvert
one,
down there?
after Labor Day before.
Well, I have a question, if and whenever they decide to do that. Is there a way of closing my alley and like the next one right there, so it doesn't end up being like 465? Every time, the last time when the railroad was doing it, man, that alley, it'd be all right if everybody run 5 mile an hour.
Yeah.
They come flying out the ends of those alleys, and especially on my end, with the sidewalk being blind, kids riding bicycles through there. Last time I parked my car out there, and we had a Karen here in town that called the sheriff's department. That dude was gonna tow my car if I didn't move it. Explained to him why it was there, he didn't care if the kid got hit. I said, well, your name's gonna be the first one on the news when they do, I'll move it, but
I might
That's
be the
why
only
it's
one that
here.
doesn't know this, but where do you live?
Side Peace King.
First
Oh, that,
half-
oh, okay, yeah.
But it
Okay.
just gets to be, I don't know, whoever called it, it takes another hour to get home here in Wadota, so they were gonna be late for supper.
So they're not gonna close off the streets. I think
I just didn't know how they were gonna do it, but I thought whenever it got to
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
wanted to know
Your alley
if
would
we
be
could
busy
limit,
hour.
I mean,
I don't think,
stick to the streets, you don't need to be flying up and down the alley, I don't care who it is.
Alley beside my house is the same way. I'm afraid to step out there.
Right, I mean, and there, you kids, neighbor kids down the street riding bicycles, kids, they just fly across the alley, I did it. And people coming down the alley, they don't stop until they get right there to the sidewalks. That's all we were trying to prevent, but that Karen in town didn't think that was right.
When all they close off or
So
whatever.
Elm Street would be the only way a big truck could go, because you can't go Taylor because of the railroad track.
Big truck won't be going.
I say it's
No.
gonna depend
Somebody
on
got
what they
it,
do.
though.
I don't-
Right, yeah, I know
Yeah.
but I just was wondering if you guys care,
Especially during.
if you guys close it, or me and Chris close it, or whoever, I just wanted your guys' opinion to see,
Someone's at the
Needs it.
weekend.
Yeah.
so.
Oh, the alley's not thoroughfare, right?
No, not really, I mean.
According to that sheriff's deputy, it is. I said, it's my goddamn garage back here, I'll deal with it if it catches on fire, but that would be.
I mean, there are alleys all over town, but people use them.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily for,
Well, I mean,
Streets.
I
they
told
use them
you,
to park and do whatever else.
Mhm.
I said, that was all we were doing for it, everybody. I didn't care if anybody went down, as long as they went
Right.
so that everybody comes flying
I
down
get
at
what
the
you're
end
saying.
of it.
We can get some signs, can't we?
You know, and like, you know, depends on what the
I mean,
highway.
if,
Where they
yeah, I
close
started
those
saying,
are.
we'll see what they're gonna do.
Right,
what they're
yeah,
gonna
and that's,
close off.
yeah,
And if it seems to be an issue, I'm sure we have some barricades or something we can put up or something, but.
Speed bumps.
Yeah.
Speed bumps.
I was parked.
Are you
I was
volunteering?
parked a car back there.
Part-time.
No, that's all, I
Okay.
was just hang on that.
Rhonda, you were next.
Yeah, I just have one thing. We're looking at, doing a Rib Fest, in September 20th. We've got everything secured that keeps everybody off the street so we don't block anything. Cause I called NDOT. NDOT said it's not possible this year because of all the construction coming through. I was trying to get downtown shut down. Cause we'd like to do like a car show and the ribs and have vendors and everything. So we contacted Brian and John and they're willing to let us use their lot, keep everybody off the street. It's for the vendors and the stage will be for the band. I need to call a couple of people, like contacted the gal that owns the old Kenny Vice. She said we could use the south parking lot there for our smoker. We're gonna cook ribs and stuff to serve a half rack and inside the bar because we don't have a big kitchen, obviously. And then we wanted to keep, everybody in this area, but we don't know what to do with the car show. If I move a car down to the park, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I didn't know if we could the bank's not open on Saturday, if we could do a little stretch of Franklin from Franklin to South Street. I don't think it'll be very big this year, just enough to maybe do so many cars on Franklin, just put some cones up. That's the only space I think I would have to block for that day. People can walk down the alley over to Trish's
I
Your
started
garden
saying,
or
it's,
wherever,
it's
they
not
can,
like Ladoga's that big. We've had
Yeah.
people
they can walk down the alley
about
over to
parking
the,
issues downtown,
festival.
but it's, if you have to walk a block, it's not a city
Yeah.
block,
Yeah.
so.
they can walk down the street.
Yeah.
and
You know.
Visit people here, or as long as we don't shut, I just don't want to shut anything down. I just want to kind of have that one little section of Franklin, if I could, for the 20th. And then, did you guys table,
Closed from Main to
Main to South Street on Franklin.
what's that?
Main Street to South
Okay,
Street.
I'll
on
make a motion that we
Franklin.
close,
Is that what you're saying?
Franklin
Yeah, just
from Main to
South,
South
yeah.
Street, September 20th for the Rib Fest.
Now, second,
For times,
What time?
They can register at noon and it'll be over the car show will be over by 6. So, but the festival will be at 9 to 10 till the noise ordinance. So that'll be over there on the gravel. So the Franklin will probably be
9 to
like 10 to
6,
6
10 to
for the
6.
car show. And after 6, we get trophies. We can lift them up and everybody can do what they want. Take the cones away.
Everybody agree on that?
Mhm.
I didn't hear
yeah,
any.
that's why I was getting ready to open my mouth there. Have a motion-
Amy.
Have a motion to close Franklin Street from Main to South on September 20th from 10 to 6. Those in favor? None opposed. Anything else from the public? Virginia?
Oh.
Oh, no.
You didn't have anything, or?
Well, it's conversation about the electric thing, so.
Okay.
Just wait to hear from Crawfordsville, so hopefully we can do that.
Oh, we don't have any news today.
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda to talk about.
Yeah, it's still.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. I figured it'd come up.
You guys tabled the Dora. Did you guys ever get back to the Dora situation?
Yeah, we took it off of the agenda.
Do it.
We took it off of the agenda, we didn't really table it. I think our decision was that we didn't really feel like it was necessary in Ladoga.
Okay.
Just because there's just the two of us.
Yep.
And there are no other like stores that are open that people can kind of go from here to there to that store to that store.
Okay.
And,
That's
you know, law enforcement was.
Right.
Perfect.
He said he wasn't gonna say anything if people were just sloppy drunk.
Yeah, I mean, there are
They're
no,
having a good
no
time.
laws against
No.
Yeah.
open carry anyway, so.
Well, after the fact, I really did a lot of research, so yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's no, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Smart than you,
Okay.
you know,
I'm good
that's
with
on
that.
them.
All right.
Anything else from the public? Jay, you have anything?
I'm good today.
Wow.
Anything, Bill?
Well, I was just concerned about this, contract that we're talking about. Increasing the power prices and so forth.
I don't think, wait, they're not gonna decide on that for a little bit. They got,
It's next on the agenda.
It is next on the agenda.
it's on, oh, okay, well, go ahead.
Old business, info service contract.
Here you go,
I think we're pretty much in agreement to table that or, so we get a
Yeah.
lot more information and, you know, maybe down the road it's a good thing, but, right now, no.
Yeah, because it seems like Crawfordsville's willing to help out. And the guys are still talking to them and they're gonna come out, I think, and any of us that can go with them when they come out, we're gonna kind of walk and just kind of see things and get an idea. But I mean,
More
but
pay as
in
you
our
go.
view, if it's,
Yeah.
if we don't have to sign a contract with them and we can just have Crawfordsville come and do whatever and they're willing to come and do that on an as-needed basis, I think yeah. So we're just waiting to hear from them on everything to finalize anything, so.
And if it's always available
Yeah,
along with Crawfordsville, anytime we need to call them.
So that's what we do now, basically.
Are we gonna remove
just not
it?
Crawfordsville, IMPA, yes.
From the,
But
agenda, I think
it's
so.
kind of like a different subsection of it,
and
I
I'm
guess.
just putting it back on there until
Until we
we,
get information.
yeah.
So just remove it from the agenda.
Yeah, until we get to know more from Crawfordsville, I think.
So the thing we're waiting for is just, what he explained to me was he's gonna put what their regular time is, their after hours and their holiday pay. And he, I'm guessing probably Mike to sign it so that we can't, once we get a bill from him, say, oh, we didn't know it was gonna be that much. So there's not actually a contract, it's just saying we agree to pay him
Yeah,
this amount.
as needed type
Yeah.
thing.
And we talked about it, even on the IMPA contract. We looked at it a couple times here and there, talked. Okay, they say it's 115, whatever it is now. But that, those guys actually only work Monday through Thursday. So if they come on Friday, it's automatic time and a half. If they come on Saturday time, if they come on any holiday, it's double time. And that's on top of our contract.
Yeah.
So it's like, Crawfordsville's saying, well, you pay us straight time on our time. And then, like the other night, that's the emergency. Yeah, you're gonna pay them a little extra, but you're not signing that big contract to begin with and then having to pay on top of that later on.
Whether they do anything or not.
Yeah.
And how quick was Crawfordsville here when you called them?
Pretty quick.
They were actually out on another service call. And they said, okay, we're done with this one. We'll be there in half hour, 35 minutes. They were here. We were still walking around assessing stuff. What was broke and what wasn't broke and what we thought we might be able to fix. And we got the parts and stuff for them and then they showed up and made up. So,
Do they know who's in the tractor?
yeah, but it wasn't, see, that is internet line, so it wasn't our line. But it messed with our line, and it was actually too low. Because that guy, they went and found who it was and the police measured up.
Well, he came through earlier that day. And
Yeah, he didn't hit anything, but we think those big box trucks that came through later actually rubbed on it and stretched it. And then when it dropped it down, when he went back through, he hit it and just flipped everything and wound all of our stuff up. Yeah, so, but he actually stopped out here. They said he didn't stop. He's over by Liston somewhere. But they went and measured his equipment. He's within his limits.
I do have something else. Mike Adams got a hold of me last week and said that the run coming down by your alley where Duke's wanting to get rid of that line that's against Dave Bowers' chimney. I guess Duke's kind of pushing on us and IMPA to do it all underground. So he's gonna send us a bill of what that's he's not really wanting to do that, but, I guess Duke's wanting it all underground, and we're gonna have to put poles, and there's not really, the poles that are there are Duke poles, and we're just attached onto them, so it's.
Well, I mean, if Duke is requiring that, is Duke gonna help pay for it?
I
They're
really,
removing their
Are they
stuff, just not
requiring it or
ours.
just
I doubt it.
suggesting?
Yeah, no, I think it's something that they're saying we have to take off. So, because they're pulling the poles because it's too
Oh, I
close to his
see.
house or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, we're waiting for that from Mike.
But we don't know if we'll have to pay for it yet, or you
No,
do.
we have to pay for it.
We have to pay for it?
Does it have to be underground?
I kind of let him take care of it and say, hey, you guys do what we think, give us quotes on what you think needs to be done. If he was trying to push to be able to set poles and Duke's not their stuff's going underground, so they're saying they want it under ours too. So if you guys want, I can CC you, one of you guys on there, and you guys can kind of listen to what, because we're just getting emails back and forth from Duke and Mike.
Good idea.
yeah, there's 3 internet lines running down that line.
Quotes for the fence at the playground. Scott, you got something in your hand there.
I think he's got,
He had one attached.
I already gave you a quote.
these are for the gate, or the fence around the small toddler playground.
This guy had something in there, didn't
Yeah,
Gate.
it's in here.
he? Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, you probably need to make a decision on that because it's not gonna be much longer before it's finished and it really needs to be on someone's schedule to get it done. Whoever you choose.
Pretty much, everything looks like it, we're comparing apples to apples with the two bids.
Oh, yeah.
Scott's bids
Yeah.
definitely below.
We just put the flags up there today. I'm not free of work.
Yeah,
My son's was lower for the,
Oh, was it?
yeah.
Yeah.
and seeing, touching, smelling, feeling, tracking down. Right, Scotty?
What's that?
Oh, galvanized versus black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. What is that?
I don't have one for Summers for just plain
No, because
galvanized.
I think when we were all talking about
You
it.
just said you wanted black.
I wanted a black
Good.
vinyl to help it.
And the
Not just
accessibility
like I said,
couldn't
but
be
to last
on.
longer.
I agree. I agree.
So, I mean,
What do you think, Trish?
what's that?
I'd like to make a motion that we go with Scott. We can see him, touch him, feel him, smell him.
Okay, do we know these people because they live there too?
I personally
I don't
don't.
know.
Yeah, I personally don't. The town know the other bid,
Did you
The
see?
Summers,
Yeah, Mike Summers?
Summers,
They live outside of town, I mean, they do fence,
they what?
they build fence, I mean, I don't know what else, they live outside of
Yeah.
town, they do.
Do we need 5 minutes to discuss it?
Who won?
as much time as you want.
Pause 5 minutes or
Sure.
however long
Sure.
it takes to discuss it, let Trish read through it.
Can we bargain? Yeah, I'm looking at you, Scott.
What you asking?
I said, can we bargain?
Look at that, the next time I come in and order lunch or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, there are other places to get other food cheaper, I'm just.
Yeah, but it's not the same quality.
I know, I don't know what the quality of these people's work is, I've never seen it
I'm
either.
not coming down on you. Nice things aren't cheap and cheap things aren't nice.
Well, yeah,
Of course, we're, someone is asking for a 50% deposit. We can't do that.
well, that's true too.
What's that?
So they're asking for a deposit and we can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff myself.
Yeah. I didn't like that
I
either,
don't do that.
but I didn't realize we didn't do deposit.
Very seldom.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Thanks for telling me. Now I know.
yeah, I didn't know that either, but, yeah.
We can't pay for anything that we don't actually have an invoice for, so.
Oh, gotcha. See, we learned something today, Trish.
All right, Scott, has anybody reached out to you from the school or anything about the time frame for that? No, okay. So, if we go ahead and do this today, I guess we need to get with, Kristen. And
She
see-
called today and
Did she
said
call
that
today?
they are
They're ready to do it?
Do you want to say something, Donnie?
done by the
Okay.
third.
I'm
They
just
want to keep
itching.
everybody off of it
Yeah.
Yeah.
until then, but that's what they're hoping for.
Sounds like we've done
I mean,
pretty
do you-
good. Keep them off that.
Like
What is your
July
time frame?
3rd?
Like,
Well,
is
I
there,
can have it done by the time school starts, but I don't know about by the time the fish fry's here.
okay, well, I mean, it's, yeah, that's, I don't think that's an
Yeah,
issue.
having it done by the
I
time
think it's more
school
mainly
starts is
concerned
not
about
a
it being done by
problem.
school,
No,
so,
That's fine.
all right. Well, I guess, the deposit thing did that one in.
I don't even know.
I'll make a
Probably six
back
weeks.
to,
Sorry.
I'll stand by the motion and make a motion that we award the bid to Scott Lower.
They don't let the kids in there at night.
You seconded it.
Yeah.
Motion been made and seconded to award the playground fence bid to Scott Lowe. Those in favor? Aye.
And that was for the black vinyl.
Used to.
Gates.
Do you have?
Kind of vague. Right. Actually, was busy and that's.
Make some copies of this.
Alrighty.
You want it, well,
I did away with the chains
right?
at the school and have school instead of chains. They want.
This is different.
You have 8 more solid.
I had the same problem.
What are you talking about?
Aluminum
All the people
versus
about the
steel.
gates?
Aluminum versus steel.
Yeah, I'm like.
Right, they're almost go.
I just had
Yeah.
one from.
It's like kids running, busting.
Was it the market?
Yeah.
And it
It's not so much about the quotes or anything, it's just the
weight there or.
way it's gonna be. So you said this is just like, there's gonna be two though, right? One on
Correct,
each
yeah.
side. But this says closed with chain.
So
Like, does
he-
it have to be chained to stay closed, or is there some sort of latch that can?
They're gonna, Newmarket's quote's just for building the gate. So we had to call someone else to, either Donnie and I are gonna have to install them, or that's just for the gates.
Okay,
Or they're gonna have to, Donnie and I will do it, or we have to, we call 2 other people to give us quotes to install the thing. But the guy told us that they're gonna, if they put them in like that, they don't wanna put latches on them until they're completely set, and then they would come in and install that, so they were, depending on how.
and do
Why
they just
wasn't
like, they just close in one way and then it kind of stops and won't go the other way? Or do they just kind of swing all the way?
I think it's kinda, however, this was just a rough, what the guy thought it needed to. Donnie went up there and showed him
Yeah.
what it was, and then he gave us.
2
different
18-foot
quotes for
gates, or 2 sets of,
Yeah.
2 sets of 18-foot gates, 2 sets of
I'm just trying to-
16-foot
So I'm
gates.
sure they could put a stopper where it stopped, and then.
It's only gonna go like a 90. Goes here, goes here.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
It
I was
doesn't,
getting
it
at.
can't go all
Yeah,
the way,
okay,
yeah, it's a 90.
okay. So they would, whoever installs it, then they would come back and put whatever needs to be put on it so it can be closed.
He said after it
Using
was
a
set
chain.
up and all that, then they would weld on latches or whatever he needed to do. And then that other thing was something I believe him and his wife came up with the signage that's on the back. I guess you could add that on if you wanted.
Oh, I see.
To add aluminum inserts, 2207, and one was add steel insert, 1569, with the Canner's thing on it.
Yeah, that's just something his wife made up, I think he said.
So you have, that's what,
Should be 8. 8, right, on it.
They gave, yep.
is that all we have is from this one in New Market?
Yeah,
And then, yeah, Scott.
yeah, I gave it to you. What's the difference between, there's 2 pages here with 2 different prices on it.
One's called steel.
One's
I got you.
steel and one's
I
aluminum.
got you, okay, I see now.
Did you say that New Market price was not installed though?
No, that was just him. They said they could do that. I mean, they're just a welding shop, so we
Yeah.
called 2 other places, but it was after I talked to him about that just Monday.
Mhm.
So they haven't got back with, I just sent them that stuff yesterday to get a quote on what it costs to install something.
So we really don't have a.
I started saying, I guess we need to wait and see what that's gonna cost too, before we get into that.
Yeah, I agree on that, Trish. You
Yeah.
don't know installation, do we? We're Scott, your bid has everything on there, right? You're not missing anything.
No, that's all
And-
there.
Latches, installation, all that.
But your gates are galvanized, right?
Or black.
Or
I
black?
put, yeah,
Okay, now I see it.
So, yeah.
But heavier than what's at the sewer plant.
they'd probably be pretty similar to what's down there. I can't remember what size of that one was.
If you guys wanted, you guys could have Scott give a quote for installing those too. I mean, if you wanted a third quote for that. I mean,
Can do that?
You may not want to install somebody else's gate.
either way, that means you can get it either way. I mean.
I can, I don't care.
All right, so we're gonna hopefully have an answer all
Yeah.
that next.
We'll just give him a copy of that thing from New Market, like I did those other guys, if he wants to turn that in.
An 18-foot gate's it's gonna take something to put in the ground to hold that sucker and keep it level.
He said it was 200 pounds.
Any new business?
That's why I said the kids are gonna be opening it.
More old business. Did I see you need to send the AWO?
Not yet,
Okay, not yet, gotcha, sorry,
I got it,
gotcha. I can't think of them.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Items for clerk treasurer.
all right. I got
When you come out to my house,
the second installment of the animal welfare contract. I didn't know if I was supposed to go ahead and pay that
Were
or,
they not supposed to come to a meeting with like
Yes, they were.
financials
Yes.
and numbers for us?
Let's not pay it yet,
Yeah,
But
I
they
don't think
were.
so until we get
yeah, not till
answers
we get
from
them
them.
in here. I'll reach out and find out what the holdup is.
and then, there's a gentleman, his name is Joe Ellis.
Mhm.
He's, the Veterans Service Officer. I gave y'all a copy of that. They are making these benches for suicide awareness. And we can have as many of them as we want for free. We just have
That's
to,
nice of
we
them.
just have to tell him how many we want. So you guys just have to decide how many, where you're gonna put them, and
Okay, I guess we could kind of look at the park and see
Yeah.
where we could put some seating at and.
He does really, do you know him by chance?
I know who he is, but I don't
Yeah,
personally know
he
him.
does good legwork for vets that don't know how to apply for services,
Yeah.
suicide, getting hooked up with.
Veteran service
Counselors.
officer, yeah. And yeah, these would look pretty
Yeah,
nice downtown.
I like those.
Gotta get together and
Put it
decide
together and, yeah.
when and where.
Yep.
Anything else?
I got something.
Okay.
We didn't bring it up here, but, we've been messing around with alleys and stuff, and we had a local company quote us to go through with this machine called a Harley rake, and it has like, carbide teeth that chew up the gravel and he re-rakes it out. And I think, what was it?
$1.50 a foot.
It's about 50 a foot, so we can just, basically what we do is go in there and dig it up with the backhoe and then repatch it anyways, but if you guys were wanting to go, Hunley has some pictures of,
Before and after.
yeah, basically it just grinds up all the gravel and then he surfaces it back out down alley, so if you guys are wanting to go that route, it's
Would
about
that be
50.
cheaper than buying new gravel for everything?
Some of them said you would still have to put gravel on,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
just maybe not as much.
The biggest part is like all alleys, you look, you've got your drive, then you got a grass hump or whatever in the middle. That'll go in and just
Just
level
kind of
all
level
that,
them out.
dig all that out, level it out. It is $1.50 a foot, and there's, it was up there because he went and done whatever, beacon the alleys. Just to try to get a measurement. And I was like, well, there's a lot of alleys. I hate to say it. Since I've been here, we have never gravelled or used. I mean, you can still get down them with our trucks. We can still get down them, but we've never gravelled and done that. So there's probably some of them, a lot of them you won't touch.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Because
grass,
if you do that,
they're.
then you're gonna add gravel down those for a
Yeah.
long ways. You're gonna go through a lot of gravel. But
Yeah.
if you just wanted them, say, to come in and do 3 or 4 right around town here, where you guys can walk around and see real easy,
Right.
and then say, okay, there's $500 whatever dollars, 600 whatever for 500 feet, whatever it is. Then you could say, okay, let's go do half a dozen more along. I mean, you're talking, some alleys go from here to Nebraska Street. 3 or 4 of these alleys go that far on this side of the tracks. So,
Donnie, is that actually a city alley that me and Ricky live on, or is that AT&T's utility alley?
that's supposedly,
That's ours?
that's a city alley.
Okay, that's ours.
I know down there toward the AT&T building, it's big humps and water and.
No, you can't pave it, Ronnie.
No.
I was gonna let Ricky and Bryce do it. No,
Yeah,
we were unclear.
yeah, no, that's.
Ricky was.
Why can't he pay it if he wants to pay for it?
Yeah.
That's an alley.
Scotty, do you pave? Ricky was convinced it was utility alley and I wasn't. Thank you.
Yeah, that might be interesting to maybe do a couple of really bad areas or something, just to see what it.
That'd be bad.
All these alleys
I'll
have
say
never
it,
been touched.
you want,
Yeah.
if I'll call him, I can call him and ask him, or one of us sure can, and say, hey, demo, or we'll pay you for 500 feet. We want to take a good look at it, and then we'll discuss, maybe so much a year or
Right.
every
Have
other
to do it like
year.
the sidewalks and everything else.
Yeah.
A little bit at a time.
So if that's
We
okay,
have
we
money
can
for
call
it,
him. We got
Alright,
finances
good
for
to know.
that. We're good? Okay.
And what's the name of the company?
Sugar Creek Lawn and Hardscape, right? Yeah.
And what did you
CJ
call it?
Mullet.
What was the
It's
name?
a,
Harley Ray?
it's a pulverizer, what they call it. They were calling it Harley Rake or pulverizer.
Yeah.
But the teeth are all set.
That's named for yards. So one of you guys gonna call then and get them down
As
here?
long as, how many feet? 500 at least. That's probably 2 alleys, so right at it.
One block of one alley
Yeah.
or whatever. And
And see how it,
All right.
Well, some of the alleys are grassed over completely.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, one, if that's the only way into your garage, you need it done.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are a few of them that we need to go back over. And the backhoe does the job, but it's a terrible job. I don't care how you try to level something with a backhoe, it's terrible.
yeah.
And this, device that he uses what's one cost to, put it on the backhoe. I mean,
They don't, it's
Yeah,
for
they don't.
skid steer,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
skid loader.
skid steer, yeah. And it's, we looked at one, well, today, earlier, and it was like $5,000 for a used one.
Oh,
They're like $15,000 for a new one.
Yeah.
So I think it'd probably be a better option to every so often come and do a few outings.
Come back when the internet companies get done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they don't clean those.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Lord, I don't know if I'll ever get down there back.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably run it over a few times.
Right.
April, you have anything?
Just, so on Friday, I got the grant turned in, so we'll find out towards the end of July.
Fingers crossed.
Bill, take care. Did you have
I
anything?
just had that one concern.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Anything from the
No, sir, it's been quiet a couple weeks.
looks like?
Oh,
Okay.
Tricia does.
So we were talking about benches in the park. So we were talking about doing, redoing the basketball court and the pickleball court. And we maybe try to get on that too to see if we can't get that done by the fish fry or before school starts too. Get some quotes from. I don't
That's
know.
just repainting it, isn't it, Trish?
I started saying the basketball courts, I don't know, if we need, I'd have. The pickleball court, the tennis ball court, if we're gonna do both, if we definitely need a new net, that net, I heard the other day, that is trash.
Is it
It's been
bad?
there for
Yeah.
many years. Many.
So we need a new, net on the tennis ball court, and then to do the painting, the painting for the court and to make it pickleball court.
I think I have, because we had someone that caught me here in town and said, hey, by the way, Crawfordsville just used in one of those parks, they painted the pickleball court into, and it wasn't really all that. Let me try to pick my brain and see what I got there.
Okay.
That was at that new park.
Lincoln
Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park, yeah,
They've got like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
And it
even one of
wasn't,
us has to contact Crawfordsville and see who they use.
Mhm.
So we can get on that, and then,
I'll
I don't know,
let me yell at the AWL and.
Do you
and
want,
yell at-
do you want 4 basketball goals? Because we took the one down because they were climbing up and going on top of the building, so
Can you make one lower?
that's why we took it down.
Can you make one lower for me and Mike?
don't worry, I have the little Fisher Price one at home, I'll just haul it down there.
You want to do a game one
I
on
mean, we can get new,
That's what
I
you
started
need
saying,
new backboards or
I
just new
started
nets
maybe
or.
the new backboards even. I don't know how bad they are, I just noticed
You
that,
just need to beat some parents.
yeah, the nets were not great and on anything.
Yeah.
Top line did
So I guess
that.
we need to go down there and look and see if we need new backboards.
And top, unless you got somebody main, top line does a good job at that. For backboards,
Oh, okay,
backboard nets, tennis nets.
okay,
Really?
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that.
Unless they quit in the last couple of years, which, I mean, it could be, but like give them a call and see.
Yeah, get some pricing on all that and try to find people to do that.
Anything else?
Yes, the sidewalk down, the block on Washington between, what, Fuzzy Bear and whatever that whole block needs
Taylor,
to be
Nebraska.
Taylor,
redone.
Nebraska.
And that tree needs to come out next to Fuzzy Bear because that's what's destroyed the sidewalk right there. I mean, it's up like 6, 8 inches right there. So since we have the money to do that, I'd really like to get that done this year.
I actually got a hold of Donnie today. I called him and left a message, he didn't answer.
Okay,
But he did say that he was gonna come and get with the guys and go have them
okay,
walk down there with him
okay,
to get an estimate.
okay, awesome.
Donnie Joe,
Yes.
okay.
Do they do the trees too, or just the sidewalk?
Just a sidewalk, we'll have to get somebody
Okay,
else.
quote for the trees. For tree.
Is it, the tree is on the east side of Fuzzy Bear, is that where it's at?
Yes,
And it's either growing in the sidewalk or it grows too big and you can't see the stop sign, so it
yeah,
probably should come
well,
out.
yeah, it's an issue.
Okay. So I don't know who you guys would get to do that, because Jackie doesn't do it anymore, right? Does Jackie still do it?
No.
If it's a little tree, which I think you're talking.
It's, yeah, it's not a massive
We can
tree by
take
any
that, we can cut
means.
that down.
Yeah.
Put total down on it, and kids can play in the blue stuff.
Sitting here thinking, one thing minor, EJ Dixon wants us to drive north of his place and just north of him at that residence, see what we think about that property. He said, would you, each one of you, drive by there and see if you're seeing anything I'm not seeing?
We're not seeing anything. He
That
got
was a rumor, that's a rumor.
Yeah.
I go by it every day. I told EJ, I go by it twice a day. I get you, brother, but
So much we can do.
everything's on board. I mean, it's not like filthy trash bags or anything, it's just whatnots or whatever.
Have a motion to adjourn?
I guess.
I'll second the
Got
motion.
into it, and that was it. I was looking over it. It was-
Yeah, these have been there. Nice.
Yeah, that guy does a great job with what he does.
He does.
I mean, not just that, but reaching out to veterans.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And there's no seating on the side of the
That's the big thing.
right?
One of the big thing was.
I don't